How are we doing, everybody? Good to see you guys. And I want to see today, I want to do a little bit about reprogramming. It's one of the things I do is because it's based on my own personal experiment, personal experience. Because when I was young, and I always intimidated by anything because of your the family history, in that country at that time. You're scared of anything, if you speak, you open your mouth, you're afraid that you would speak something wrong. And because it's the environment, I guess, make you become a little bit deaf and mute to some degree. So I guess subconsciously, you behave that way. I guess it's safe to protect yourself, to be alive at least. Because I told you guys earlier, and in different episode that even I pointed somebody who made a wrong and false movement, and he cheated, and I pointed him, and he said, people like me, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't point somebody, even somebody made a mistake. Cheated somebody on the pool even. So, and then they can beat you to death, and nobody would stop that. Why nobody stopped that? Because you didn't have any right to speak in that environment. You understand? And if you speak, and people thought, and they have all the rights to kill you. Okay, anybody can speak. Other people can point out other people's mistake. Other people can point out other people's cheating, but not you. Even though you are only a few years old. So I guess you programmed in such a suppressed mental, psychological, subconscious disk inside your body, inside your mind. You consciously, you subconsciously see things differently from everybody else. So when I begin to see, I don't have to behave that way. And that's when I started Kung Fu, I think, because it gave me a lot of confidence, even though I don't have to speak, but I can act. Even though I cannot, do some thing in the public, but I can do something in private, practice on my own, or practice with a teacher who would teach me. Some people would love to practice with me. So the Kung Fu is a really thing that reprogrammed my mind, reprogrammed my body. That in Zen, over here, Zen is meditation. Zen is infinity. Zen is freedom. Zen is the innate potentiality. So when that combined together, I see Kung Fu Zen is totally mingled together to support me, at least for my life. And from a person who could hardly speak, even in Chinese, and not to mention study another foreign language. And it's impossible, But that experience gave me a chance to see, as a human being, we can all reprogram ourselves to see differently. When you see differently, when you be aware of different situation, when you are in a different state of the mind, different state of the body, you don't have to act within that pressure, within that frame of the mind everybody gave you, within that conformed conditions, circumstances. You don't have to speak one word. You look at the authority. If you spoke, you would speak right or wrong. You just express yourself with the mind, with the body, and without speak. And that's the first I started. I begin to gain more confidence because I can express myself. And some people even borrow me, maybe even give you a different name to express myself. And whatever, they want to give me a fake name, it doesn't matter. I can express myself as a human being. So that really, that Gong Fu is not actually just a movement of the body, but the movements of your emotions, the movements of your psychological being, the movements of your mental being. The movements of all that community of 50 to 100 trillion cells. As we know, of course, we have over 100 kinds of cells, more. And but those that are trillions of cells together they make who you are. When they die, you eliminate them. You change a new set of genes, a new set of cells. Just 100 days, probably a totally new person would be born. You have 300 million cells. 300 million cells die each minute. But probably 80 to 100 days, the whole body totally changed. All the cells lived. Most of the cells died. Most cells died. You have a totally new, brand new cells alive. Especially some of the gut cells, some blood cells. The gut cells change very frequently. They die very quickly. That's why when I was young, I had so much ulcer, so much pain on my stomach. You're bleeding. When I came to the United States, all that is gone. Why? The suppressed mind open up. The suppressed body open up. Because I was no longer live in such a fear, such a comfort mind, such a condition that I was in fear of anything. In the United States, I see a lot of people disregard political situation, disregard racial situation, disregard a lot of things, and you see a lot of people are actually privileged, but they live in fear. They live in fear. All that we see, it is in the mind. It is totally programmed in the mind. I remember I have a Jewish student who was with me when he was 13. His dad always tell him, da, 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 You have to be succeed. You have to make a lot of money. You have to do this. You have to do that. Otherwise, you'll be doomed. You have to pay money back. You have to, da 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 da. I just live in fear. That young man, and always struggle to make a lot of money. And he went to go to school, UC Berkeley. He did make some money. He got like, I think it's $11 million, but that's not a sufficient, of course, to a young man like him. They need to make more and more and more and more and more. Does that money support life? Is that all about the life? If that is all about life, what is the purpose of life? I remember this young man was born with type A diabetes. He has to carry medicine. In the American community, that's what it is. I took him to China. There was, people scared. I took him to China, and his family scared. But he did really well. What a smart young man. He was with me for probably 3 weeks in China. He did so wonderful, so wonderful, and so open up with so many people. And he eventually moved to China. When he graduated from UC Berkeley and he moved to China. So you see, a lot of people failed. Around me, a lot of people failed. They are destined to be this or destined to be that, which is not true at all. That's why I started this program called LQC, which is Leaps of Quantum Consciousness. What is leaps of quantum consciousness? Leaps because quantum numbers 3, 6, 9. That's what I have to say, 3, 6, 9. It's a jump. It's instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That a symmetrical picture of the universe, that a secret geometry of the universe, that a hidden 3s, that hidden 6, that a guiding line of the 9 is so beautifully expressed in the universe. In leaps of bound. Quantum, because today's quantum physics told us totally different story from the past classic physics. Everything's solid. If it's not solid, it's not real, which is not true. From quantum mechanics, you see. Can you see quarks? Can you see Higgs field? Just the simple qi from the Chinese point of view. Can you see it? Can you see the energy frequency? Can you see the potential? No, you don't. They don't exist. So we have to re-see ourselves. Are we real? Many scientists told me that we're holographic. We are sort of like an interface. Each one of us is like an interface. We present the best of ourselves. Of course, do really people want to present the real self? Not many people. Not many people. I'm serious. They want to present the best self because old days are for generations, to give generations, downward. From generation to generation, there's for genes, for human beings to sustain, to move forward, to hand down. But that millions of years of evolution, have we given the best of humanity? Have we given ourselves an opportunity to see that intelligence within, to express ourselves the best way we can? Often, we find a lot of disease. We find a lot of dogma. We find a lot of religion. You know, it's not religion, it's not good. We have thousands of religion, you understand? Just the Christianity alone, we have thousands. Not to mention Buddhists, you know, and Judaism, and Muslim, and a lot of others. And there's so many divisions. Are they? Everyone believed I'm the one speaking the truth. What about the thousands of others divisions? You know? When I was in Mobile College, I remember one lady told me, I said, well, I was baptized when I was a kid, a baby, as a Presbyterian. And he said, no, that's not religion. That's not with the, in the Baptist, the really religion with God. And you can, if you want to be saved, you got to be the Baptist. Wow. That's really, really interesting. So that's what she believed, indoctrinated into her mind, conditioned into her mind, programmed into her mind. Another young man, you know, when I was at the library, called me out, and he wanted to talk to me. He said, you are a good man. I said, really? He said, you're a good Christian. I said, really? Okay. What do you want to talk to me? He said, all this propaganda, all these scientists, all these so-called space, all this media lied to us all these years. They lied to us the earth is round. They lied to us the science is round. They know that earth is flat. They know that earth is flat. But they unpurposely told us the earth is a sphere. The earth is round. Oh, really? Wow. I don't know if he was right or, you know, other people are right. According to holographic principle, everything is two-dimensional. Why? Because what do we see? Three-dimensional is illusion. That's true too. Because everything's a holographic. It looks like it three-dimensional. But of course, he didn't see from that point of view. He saw from his own point of view. You know, it's totally different. When I say interface is what do we see? It's sort of like an interface. You don't see the real thing. Just a school, for example, you know. Do you see everything on the school, the university? They present to you the university. I went to Harvard to give a speech. You know, I went to Tulane and went to UC Berkeley and a couple of universities. And you see this splendid school, you know. When I was, you know, a student also, and kind of part-time student at UC Berkeley when I just got into this country. Studied over there. And I always go to the mountain to see, you know, the beautiful view on the top of the mountain of the Berkeley hill. Oh, it was beautiful because a lot of families have to squeeze around. It was beautiful. Everything's three-dimensional. It's a beautiful view. I don't know what it is today. That was a long time ago, 80s. And everything's beautiful, you know, at UC Berkeley. Beautiful buildings. And then you see a young man, probably at that time 70 years old or something, from Hong Kong, and he he played erhu. Erhu. Erhu is the 2 strings. He played. Oh, it's beautiful. And people give him coins. And then I remember one time one of my best friends, Dr. Shashri, who brought me to UC Berkeley, and pointed me, this is a drug addict. That is drug addict. I said, wow, these professors are drug addicts. Never thought of it. Because everything to me, they are professors. They're so splendid to me. And then he would told me, this is drug addict. I said, oh my goodness. It was so funny. And it's not up here. It's not what you see to be, just that alone, that professor didn't show himself he's a drug addict. He never know. He never show you he's a drug addict. He showed the best of him, in the library, in the different places, And I had a total respect to him. And then when he said the drug addict, I said, oh my goodness, I was shocked. And so what I see is that we present the interface, we present the best picture of that interface of ourselves, to live. Makes sense. Don't you agree? And that holographic principle, according to quantum physics. And we see. But that interface, everybody showed the similar interface, but they never really reprogram anything internally. Do people look into the files? Do people look into the language that, it is written into that interface, inside the interface? Have we? We look outside. Have we look inside? That's what I do. That's why I call quantum leaps of quantum consciousness, because the consciously, every day, I need to look inside myself. Not just my bones, my muscles, my cells, each amoeba, the complex cells we talk about, but inside the consciousness, the subconsciousness, the innermost consciousness. Some people call engineering. It's sort of like I started with the breathing. The breathing is a technique, so I call the breathing technology, the 999 medi-breath cosmic ecosystem technology. It's a technique I look inside myself, started with the very basic 3, 6, and 9, and then begin to calm down myself, to keep that silence, to give that space to see myself. When I see myself, I see the humanity. When I see for myself, I see the universe. When I see myself, I see the nature. And when I see myself, I see the interconnection of all beings. We don't have to be full of disease. We don't have to be full of fears. We don't have to live with that dogma that conform the society. The group conscious mind, the group culture, we can transform. So when I was in China, I lived the way I live. When I came to the United States, I totally changed my personality. Totally changed. I can speak in the public. It's unbelievable those days. I could even speak in another language. Those days, the only word in English I knew, long live Chairman Mao, because that's the only word I should know, because I cannot know anything else. If I knew anything else, probably was not a good idea. If you study a foreign language, that's bad because those are imperialists, America. They were enemy of China at those days. So you see, what's the dogma made you who you are, and made who I was. I was full of disease. I never lived a single day without a feel pain, without feeling sad, without feeling if I couldn't live next day. Because every day it was full of sufferings. It was Kung Fu changed my freedom because I don't have to do over there, but I can do over there. I don't have to do in the public, but I can do somewhere else to express myself, my energy, my consciousness, some inner intelligence. Even though people call me nothing upstairs, the body is limb, is flexible, can do all kinds of things, but the mind upstairs, nothing upstairs. And I was happy. I did not dare to express anything else, but I was glad I didn't have as much upstairs, because an empty mind is the best mind to download anything there is. Did you agree, Dorothy? So what I see is that we all, peel off and learn. That's reprogramming. So program to me is Kung Fu. It's perceive, conceive. If you have that perception, that conceive a brand new information, you've got to clean up old information, wipe off old information, rewrite the information system. That means your genes, your DNA got to be rewritten. Get rid of the old programs, old conditions, changing brand new information. That's you perceive brand new information, and you conceive brand new information. You got rid of the old dogma, old toxics, old beliefs. Belief. And people say, well, believe this, believe that. If you really believe, you don't say believe anymore, you just do it. Believe, just, okay, I believe the universe is this, I believe this is, I believe this, I believe this. Do the people do anything with their beliefs? That's called wishes. I admire a lot of, different people have different religions. They really, really act on it. At least in terms of ethics, in terms of morality, they go by, that's admirable. But a lot of people don't. They don't. They do whatever they want to do. New Orleans, I have a school in New Orleans. Some of my students told me, hey, Shifu, I come to school, this is sanctuary to me. When he went back to Bourbon Street, he sell alcohol, because he worked for the restaurant. He sell alcohol and he drinks, he got all kind of things. And then he come to my school. He said, "This is sanctuary, and I need to be good. I need to be clean. I want to be good over here. When I'm in Bourbon Street, I do what I do." So, what is it good for? What is it good for? You come to my school, you do meditation, you do some Tai Chi, you do some breathing, and then you wasted over there. You never program anything. The old things are still there. That's why last week I talked about these topics. detoxification is so vital, because you got to get rid of the old information, old programming, and then you can put it in new information. Just like what I said last time, people full of it. They want to learn new things. How can you learn new things when you are full of it? Because you're full, you're totally full of it. So what I see is that, so clean up is so important. Last week we talked about, 2 weeks ago we talked about. But when you clean up, and then you can reprogram, rewrite the disk with brand new information. So that's why I perceive. And then with the new information you conceive, and you put into thoughts, and you put into action, and then that is reprogramming. You repeat, and you change the old habit into a new one. Reprogramming. I'm reprogramming every day, at least 3 to 5 hours a day, every single day, 7 days a week. I know that I have a lot of things that I need to reprogram, because sometimes you slip. Sometimes I watch this thing, I say, I shouldn't watch this thing. Look at this chaos. Look at this, these quarrels. Look at this disease, just make you sick. Why I look at this thing? It's silly. Get my mind is totally corrupted. Forget it. So, but most of us do. Most of us listen to, these junk talks, from TV, from media, from all kinds of things, and watch these social media and the cell phone every day. You see one of the picture I saw. A group of people, 8 people, come to this restaurant. They all came from all over the places and come to one place. They can get together to be friends. You know what? Before the dinner is up, what they do, everybody's on the phone. Everybody is looking at the phone. Not a single person talks to each other. Everybody's on the phone, just because they wait for another person come in. They just watch the phone. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, isn't it? So what they do? Oh, you ask them, what do you look at? Oh, it's just some junk. They already knew it was a junk, but they still watch it. As I told you last time, I went to Walmart. 4 people, 4 people. I asked something about this basin. I said, how can I find? So, over there. They went back to the phone. 4 people, in that place. That's in Mobile, yes. But one lady is real nice, a black lady, and she's beautiful. She, not because she took some of me, some ways she's beautiful, but she's really, really act beautifully. She took her time, taking me to that, assistant manager, because she didn't know, and she asked. That was beautiful. But you have some people, not so stuck with this cell phone. They remember that cell phone continually to reprogram you into what? Into the chaotic media, into chaotic situation, into chaotic social, I call social entropy. And your mind is totally, totally bizarre. You can never concentrate on anything. Your attention span is totally bizarre. And they have a research on the teenagers. A teenager of today's population, general teenager population, their attention span is as good as heroin addict. Wow. That's a report. Do you know that? A teenager's attention span is as good as heroin addict. Is that giving us some warning? Look like most of us still don't care. That's why I put this program out. Maybe it's time for us to reprogram ourselves Our kids, we sometimes blame the kids, but what about ourselves, the adults? Are we better? So I see, let's start by each self. Let's have that quantum leap. So that's all come from Zen Taigong. What I did, Zen means meditation, Taigong means Taiji, Kung Fu. It's about body-mind connection. It's about the movements of the mind and the movements of the body. We start from the basic breathing, as I mentioned earlier. To see who we are, what we are, what did we come here for? Where are we going? Do we know? As a humanity, without a purpose, what is the purpose? What is the motive? Let's forget about motive. Of course, everybody has motive. There's nothing wrong with the motive. There's nothing wrong with the desire. But if the desire only for possession, if the desire only for sexual possession, or goods possession, or greed, or the material things, or the desire for something, either spiritual or mental, doesn't matter. The external things give you real happiness. People get dopamine because they look forward to something. When they get something, the dopamine is gone. But when people do exercise, when people do meditation, they get a lot of endorphins. And the endorphins, healing. So what I say is that let's reprogram ourselves from the diseased mind, the entropy of the social entropy, the physical entropy, the genetic information entropy, to give a little bit of order and lighten up ourselves, open our heart, open our mind, and open and light up our light. The light is the inner light. The light is intelligence of the light. And let's start with the vitality of the body and the vitality of the mind. That is simple life breath. My book has finished. I have finished my book. It's called A Conscious Life Breath. I let it sit because there are a lot of things, mistakes, a lot of I just something come to my mind. I wrote so many pages. I need to go back to reorganize. A conscious life breath is about the inner meditation, the deep state of meditation. Start from a simple breath. So today I want to do 2 modules. One is 3-6, another is 4-8. Okay, and then why I talk with you a lot before I do it, because I want to see this breathing. If you do the breath, you still went to the older thoughts. What's the purpose? I want to see if you can see the possibility of your change, the possibility of the transformation, the possibility of rewrite your genes, rewrite your DNA, the possibility to change your habit, simple things, to change your addiction to social media, to all kinds of this entropy, this chaos, and to give some order to your mind, to give some order to your genes, to give some order to your physical and mental being. And then that order will translate, will permeate to the humanity from each interconnectedness. Okay, let's start thumb together. Okay, what I want to do is that we do 9 times of 3. I do a little bit longer. Okay, sometimes 3, 6, you should be able to follow longer than seconds. But 4, 8, some people have problems because one of them, my friend, and who studied with me in Kung Fu and different things, he did say that had a little bit problem follow. And he did Kung Fu for 20 years. So he's a teacher. If he has problems, other people may have problems because we usually breathe so short, so brief, so inadequate. So to change that breathing rate from very short to a little bit longer, from very rapid to sustained rhythmic breathing, from autonomic, automatic to intentional, mindful, to meditative breathing. That's why it is called 999 medibreath, cosmic medibreath, because when you really get into that cosmic mind, your breath is like a sea, the waves, like geometry, like the math, geometry of the universe. You're totally coherent. All right, let's just start. Come together. We connect with the magnetic field, and then we breathe deeply, and we breathe out very, very slowly. 3, 6, not as slow. 4, 8, a little bit slower. In the future, we can do more. All right, let's do this 2 today. Normally, I do 3 sets. We only do 1 set because of the time. And usually, I can do like a 26 or 27 per set. Well, normally, we'll only do 9, okay? And let's start. Breathe in, out. 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 in, out, in, out. Hold it. In, out, in, out. Let's do 4, 8. In, out, 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 hold it, in, out. in, out. Okay, now let's see if we have any questions in regarding to the breath we are doing. Anybody?
Shifu?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, good. As far as the breathing, do you recommend as far as through the mouth or through the nose, or do you alternate? Or
okay, this is what you do. Usually, I do is everything goes through the nose. However, when I do that two breaths to catch up, right? We hold and then we breathe again. You can breathe out with the mouth, a little bit with the mouth. That's not a problem at all. Usually, and in all through the nose, and out only certain times can go through the mouth. And some of the breath is I recommend with the mouth, but I'm not at this point yet. Yes, and what I want to see is if we can breathe with serenity, calmness, with some silence to silence the mind, to give us body a little bit of space to reorganize, to communicate. And you have 50 trillion cells, they're all there, all of them, you know. Of course, you have so many, you know, large percent germs and, you know, bacteria. However, they also need that calmness to guide them, to give the good consciousness to guide them. They die very quickly, but they guide them to give them a good information so they can behave in a healthy way to protect you instead of cause a lot of chaos. That's what I see, especially the line, you know, in your colons, in your stomach, you know, because as I said, when I was in China, I full of also why? Because there's so much misinformation in my mind, in my body, and it's just always anxious, always in a pressure, and then your stomach become ulcer. You understand? When I come here, I never ever took a single shot of ice cream in China, or you know, there's ice cube. I don't do that. But over here, I eat all day long. I didn't have problems. Never had ulcer. You understand? You see, the stomach becomes stronger. I drink cold water. I didn't have problems anymore. I never drank cold water in China because I was a Chinese medicine doctor. And then I never recommend anybody to drink cold water. But over here, I do all the time. You know? So you see, it's perception. You see, it's the information. You see, it's the energy frequency. You're stronger. You don't have problems anymore because you're so weak. You know, anything can get you down. You understand? Because your signal is so weak. So that's what I see for all these years. Because I do not want to give every misinformation. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. What I do is according to my experience, according to the experience I have experienced with thousands of patients I have worked with, from cancer to back problems to insomnia and to migraine headaches to bone cancer to leukemia and to you name it. I met so many people. A lot of people changed. You do have some people didn't change because they don't want to change. So what we're going to do. So when the people want to depend on others, those people depend on others or depend on the doctor. Most people they don't survive well. Just like from Atlanta, Red Blue told me He has 5 people he want to introduce to me. They all have stage 3 cancer. He told me, they consider about it. And a few weeks later, he said, well, they all told me they had a best doctor they are, they don't want to bother with some Chinese Zen master. They have nothing to do with you. All of them died within half a year. Some 3 months, because doctor told them 3 months. Some people half a year, doctor told them half a year. It was silly. They all died. 5 people, remember, 5 people died exactly. The doctor told them why? Because they stuck into that program. The doctor started with the program. He was the only one 2 years still had an interview with me. 5 years still had an interview with me. You see? And he was the worst at that time. He could not even walk. He could not even sit. When he sit, he fell. He lost 85 pounds. And he survived. Not because of me, but because of myself. He opened up. He, just like he said in the interview, the best thing Shifu taught him, no, I didn't teach him anything, actually, is to change his mindset, is to change his way of thinking. Of course, if he thinks that way, that's beautiful. Why? Because when you change the perception, you change everything. That's the reality. Because your reality changed. Your body began to go new reality. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Anybody?
I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yes, when I'm breathing,
Yes.
my mind just goes all different directions.
Yeah. That's normal.
And it takes a lot of effort to just let go of all that and just think about the breathing.
See,
Is there
see what I do? See, when I breathe, okay, I see nothing. No thoughts, nothing. Nothing transmitted into my mind, nothing, zero. The only thing I see is my breath. The only thing is seeing my transmission of that breath into my lungs, into my cells. That's the only world I'm in. And then I count the numbers. 1. And then I will see that when I see 1, I see how that flow. When I see 2, how that deeper. When I see 3, how deeper it went. And then I let it go, how that is transmitted, how that dioxide kicked out, how that old information kicked out. That's how I see. I visualize. I don't see anything else. That's the only thing. I mean, I'm playing this game, this human life game I'm playing. It's a game I'm playing because I'm totally involved. Because why you are over there? Because you're not in it. You're not in a state of the mind, it's state of the body. That's why it cares. I never had any efforts. When I have efforts, it's done. I'm done. I cannot get into it when I have efforts. So effortless, striveless, no hardships, nothing. Because when I dive into the water, I'm swimming. Over here, I'm totally diving into that breath. And that breath is totally that visualization. My breath come into my body and my lungs and transmit it into the diaphragm and go down. I breathe in. Then I do out. I'm totally flow with that breath because I'm in it. Just like when I do Tai Chi, I'm totally in it. When I do Kung Fu, and I totally in it. So I don't have a space to think to see anything else. I don't have I'm totally into this flow. the game of the flow, the game of the potentiality, the game of that energy, the game of that chi. So when you are in another realm, you're totally still in another three-dimensional chaos. Yeah, because you have so much installed in you, because the program for the last, you're over 25, right? Over last 25 years, last 30 years, whatever. Okay, you have a program so long, it's not that easy to get out. You understand? But there's a hope. If I have a hope, you have a hope. Okay, and I have people like 70 years old, 80 years old, they can't even do it. You can do it. All right.
So the deal is, if I just keep trying, eventually.
Don't keep trying. Just count the numbers, breathe, follow your breath. Do that every day. You see how deep you can get into. How sometimes you might flying out. Bring it in. Sometimes I might flying out. Bring it in. Bring into that realm. That total realm. That realm is the flow. That realm is the breath. That realm is that visualization of energy transformation, that oxygen and ATP become ADP. Of course, you don't use that word. I use this verb, these words to fill up the blanks. You don't have to see any of that, because I have a science major, so that's why I say this, because I have a MD, a master's degree in medical science major, and I have an MD degree in China, and then OMD in China. So this, because I use this to just this language, maybe poor language, but poor vocabulary, but the vocabulary I usually use to explain. But sometimes it's beyond that vocabulary. It is that flow, that energy, that chi. You're in it. You're in it. Just like you're swimming, you enjoy every minute of it. You enjoy every second of it. You enjoy every moment, then any second of it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Energy transformation. Energy transformation.
Yeah,
tell me about that.
It's beautiful. It takes time. Sometimes it does take time, according to the three-dimensional world, or take time. But a lot of times you don't take time. If you dive in, there's no time. Just like one of my friends told me, Shifu, the only thing I'm with you is unbelievable. In like 5 hours. Suddenly 5 hours is gone. I was with you for 5 hours. So how could that happen? I lost my meeting. I have a year, he was the company's CEO, had two companies CEO. He missed his meeting by 2 hours. He was with me. He said, I have no idea I was with him for 5 hours. Time is gone. There's no time anymore. And he was with me so many times, he was gone. Why? Because when you're in it, you are really, really enjoy it. Really.
So energy transformation is the experience of feeling your breath.
You start with that very shallow way. That's started with a feeling of breath. Eventually, you will go beyond that breath. At the beginning, yes, because that will help you to eliminate others. You understand? Give you an anchor, at least an anchor, something, so you eliminate others. Because otherwise, when I do deeper, I don't breathe anymore. I forgot breath. But of course, I'm still breathing, but I'm getting deeper and deeper. I'm traveling, freely here, there. I don't know I'm traveling, but it's another dimension, another, realm, and to talk about. So, and but at the beginning, yes, just feel that energy, feel that oxygen, feel that count the numbers. The numbers is good numbers, and it's just to start from that, and then that feeling, and give you something to anchor, something to get your mind to pay attention to. Okay.
So energy transformation isn't like a scientific concept. It's more like an analogy.
It's not a real analogy. It's over here. You just feel the breath. The breath. Let's say your breath is a chi. The breath is oxygen. Just to feel that. Feel that oxygen. Feel it come into your body. Feel how it's translated. How to, just transport it to all the cells. Just feel it. Just start from that. Don't get too complex. Just feel that relaxation. Just a feel.
So just
start
feel
from
it.
that. Just a feel. Just start from that. It
Just
can be
feel
beautiful.
it.
Yeah, just feel it. Just feel it. Yes,
Okay.
it'll be good. Anybody else? Hello, my beloved Dr. Robert. How are you doing?
I'm good,
Steven?
Coach. I'm good. Coach, you know what? I do want to ask you, so with the numbers, explain the numbers again with the breathing.
Okay, numbers we start with a 3. Okay, 3, because my birthday is a 3/6. Okay, March the 6th. Okay, I was born, people thought I was born in 2022. No, I was not, definitely not born in 2022. Bring it earlier. But I say I'm 30 years old. People say, oh, you're born in 1950s, you're 30 years old. How do you do that? I said, that's just to me. I don't care anybody else. And to me, and I was 30. I'm 30. Because I feel 30, I do things like 30, and my mind is active as 30. I create as 30. I'm curious as 30 years old, and even younger. So what I see is 3. You breathe in. 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you breathe in again. You want you to breathe 9 times, you hold it. You hold it for 18, probably 18 seconds, 18 count. Normally I do a little bit longer. You can do 9 counts, start with the 9 counts. And then you go 18 counts, you can get it deeper. And one of my students, I told you, and Lisa, she can do as long as 15 minutes, hold her breath. And because she began to learn how to breathe with her abdomen, how to breathe with her, how to use we call prenatal breathing method. So those are things. And then next one, we did 2 today. Next one is 4. So you breathe 4 times, you breathe out 12 times. So 12, and to breathe out 8 times. So 4, so 12. 12, the roots of 12 is 3 again. So I like 3 and 6 and 9. So that's just me. And that's why I call it 999, because later on we have 9, because you do 9 times, 3 9s. So it's called 999. And then we have to do 9 counts and also 3 9s, 999. And then it's, that's my, it's just magic to me. And I like the numbers. So it's, in Chinese, we call the number of the energy of the numbers. You have a cosmic energy of the numbers. So the symmetric numbers, the hidden numbers. So, and, later on we can talk about numbers a lot, not today. The yin yang numbers, flow, transformation. I saw you have yin yang behind you. That's great.
Shifu.
Yes.
Hello, this is Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, I want to apologize, Shifu. I read the graphic wrong and thought it started at 7:30 CST. So I apologize for being late, but I did get to come in on the end of the breathing, and I just wanted to say it was useful as always. It's always good to kind of take some time and be a little still, and kind of get all of that tension and kind of energy out and just breathe. So thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sometimes when we breathe, it really helps us to refocus attention and refresh, at least. Is that
Yes,
right,
sir.
Dorothy? Good to see you, Dorothy. Okay, have a beautiful night.